it's Kevin from Cuca, and we are back in Canada cooking, but a selection of the nostalgic products from my childhood. And today, we're tackling salmon. Now, people assume salmon is just one fish, but it's actually 5 species of fish. You have spring or chinook, you have coho, you have chum, you have sockeye, and you have pink salmon. They're all different varieties, and each one is good for a different application. But the star of all salmon is the sockeye. The sockeye salmon is this. This isn't Photoshop. It's like neon red orange, and it's beautiful flesh. It's dense, it's super flavorful, it's a smaller salmon, and this is the salmon that goes directly from Canada to Japan to use in all the premium Japanese sushi restaurants, and it's also what we do a little bit of simple preparations with. Now, the preparation that we're going to do is smoked salmon. There's 2 types of smoking. You have hot smoking, above 80 Celsius, and you have cold smoking, kind of below 80 Celsius. So the idea of cold smoking is you're curing the fish and it stays raw, but you're impregnating with smoke. Hot smoking, you're curing the fish and you're also cooking the fish. So slightly different purpose. What we're going to do today is we're going to hot smoke the fish. Now, how we're going to do this is simple. First, you need to start with a curing process, which is salt, sugar. That's it. Now, you can play with this, and this is one of my favorite applications. So we've got sockeye salmon, but all we're going to do is we need sugar and salt. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some maple syrup, which is unbelievably delicious and tasty. And what we're going to do is we're going to literally do a baby drizzle. Just a baby drizzle over the top of that fish. And then we're going to rub it in, and we're going to give the thinnest, glossiest kind of coating, and this is going to be our sugar component. Now, this is also going to act as the glue to now stick our salt. So this is going to be our sugar component. All that's now rubbed in, and when we cook this on the barbecue, this is going to caramelize and is going to become like slightly crispy and dark and chewy and ridiculous. Then our salt component. So we're going to sprinkle the salt, more where it's thicker, less where it's thinner, and that we're going to also just rub in to the salmon. Perfect. So little salt, little maple, and now this beauty is going to go into the fridge for 24 hours. Into the fridge for 24 hours, and what's going to happen is it's going to dry out, the maple is going to lose its water and become like a lacquer, and the salt is going to draw out a little bit of water and impregnate the fish and season it right to the core with the delicious saltiness of the ocean. So step 1, hot smoking salmon on the barbecue, done.
A few moments later.
So unlike all the other videos where we were really focusing on how many grams and how many milliliters, here we're focusing more on a method. So this is the fish after being overnight in the fridge. The maple is kind of dried and lacquered with the salt into the fish. And the fish at this stage, essentially, it's cured, meaning it's cooked through salt osmosis. Now, this is how we're going to cook this. We're looking at about 2 hours, and all I've done is I've gathered all these kind of evergreen branches from around the backyard that had fallen with a storm last night. And what I've done is I've put them on the barbecue, and I've just started getting them all smoky, all charred and all smoky. And this is what we're going to do. We're just going to add some more branches, so that will just keep smoldering. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the barbecue. We're just going to turn off the barbecue. We're going to put our salmon right inside of the barbecue like this. And we're literally just going to shut the lid and let that sit in a smoky kind of pine needle environment. Temperature is not going to get crazy hot. We're looking at about 80, 90, 100, 120 maximum. We're looking to cook it with heat, caramelize that maple sugar, and I'll show you what it looks like after.
2 hours later.
So after 2 hours now, what should have happened is all the branches and the nettles have fallen right on top of the burners of the stove. It created an immense amount of smoke, and it's now kind of died down. And what we're looking for doneness is just cooked. We're not hammering it with heat for 2 hours. We're delicately giving it gusts of smoke by adding the barbecue when it needs it and adding new branches when those have burnt off. So just look. This is the result. So you can see that it's just giving to my fingers, and you can see that if you push, you just get moisture coming to the surface. So this is absolutely perfect, and all we're going to do now is just remove this piece from the barbecue, and then this we're going to allow to cool to room temperature, and then you can use it in anything. You can use it, grab a few handfuls of meat and use it in a salad, or use it to finish a pasta, or use it to finish a soup, or put it in between 2 slices of bread and just shove it into your face. Outstanding. Hot smoked Canadian salmon with maple and sea salt and bushes from the backyard.